Hi guys, I'm back, I'm improving, and I'm trying really hard to improve on my human realism skills. Today, I'm sketching off a reference photo, something I try not to reveal doing quite so much, given some of the drama within the digital artist community. A lot of people reckon that if you digitally trace an issue, it's not quite the same as making your own creation from scratch. And I remember a few years back, quite a well-known artist within the online community was facing drama and harassment due to using reference images very closely and perhaps even tracing in parts to the point where they haven't uploaded in nearly 2 years. I can't remember the exact details, but despite altering the images and making their own pieces very much their own, apparently the fact that there was tracing involved meant that they were facing a lot of flack and drama over the whole situation. Now, I know I'm not tracing, but given that some of the images I just pull off of sites like Pinterest and Tumblr, I'm aware that I could potentially face copyright flack and drama over crediting, despite often never even knowing where these images originated from. Which is a shame really, because most if not all these images I would really love to know who the original artists were, so I could follow them and check out perhaps some of their other pieces. Regardless though, I've put off sketching and making this video far too much this week, and my niggling artist's block isn't really helping matters much. So today I've crumbled to using a reference pic. But it's not all bad though. I feel like through this piece I was able to hone my accuracy a little bit more, even though it obviously does not look identical to the original referencing image. Personally though, if you're working to advance and improve your own skill set, I really don't see what the issue with using other images actually is. Now I'm not saying to just rip off every other artist's pieces and to just trace things over with little to no originality. But today, as you can see, I'm using an image to pinpoint accuracy and improve. I'm putting effort into maintaining a level of individuality, and I'm not just making a clone of the piece. I'd like to think that this shouldn't be the be-all and end-all, and I've never seen why people witch hunt in cases where one person isn't setting out to rip off another. And the same with tracing too. Now I know anyone who's done any time on platforms such as DeviantArt and or Tumblr will automatically prick up their ears whenever someone mentions tracing. It's been such a cause of controversy and contention that in some cases, now note that I've said some and not all, I feel you cannot even open your mouth if the subject you're about to discuss involves it. But I will say this, tracing is not the end of the world. You do have to be a lot more careful with it, given that you're tracing and not copying off a reference pic, but if you're careful, it can still work out for you. I think I should just specify as well that I'm not saying this from an entirely drama-focused perspective. When you trace an image, I find that with me personally, my trace lines will often render an image that can come out looking very stiff and lifeless, and often it doesn't look at all realistic. If I personally end up tracing something, often I'll find that I have to end up reworking it a bit just so that it's even worth continuing with it all. Though this is just how I personally find my experience with things, and I'd love to hear if anyone else has found or experienced differently. Something else that I feel that I should specify too, just while we're on the tangent of me ranting and giving my opinion on things here, is that if you're going to trace, use a dang photograph. Even though tracing can turn out to be a somewhat poor representation of rendering in the art world, it's always good to get as close to realism as you can. I've seen people set out to try and trace from other drawn or sketch images found online, and not to crap over all of someone else's effort, but I really feel like that's just setting yourself up for disaster. If you're tracing to try and learn new things and better your skill set, don't just base yourself off of another person. Every artist has their own unique art style and their own little mistakes or idiosyncrasies that they do. And often when people trace another's work, particularly more so I've noticed around the manga and anime world, you'll find that when you trace off someone else, you'll be picking up both their mistakes as well as your own. When you trace off photography, however, you get none of that. With realism, you'll be able to push yourself further and further and keep advancing and gaining up to a higher skill set, and you won't just be limited to whatever style and level the person or people you're copying off are. These are just my opinions, however, and I'm not trying to dictate anyone's lives or tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing. As an artist, I feel you should constantly be exploring yourself and the world around you, and it's surprising what new trends and wildly successful endeavours end up being created by individuals going against the norm, and discovering new ways to express themselves and carry things out. I hope you enjoyed, or at least could tolerate my extensive ranting for today, and he's hoping that I can kick my artist block in time for the next video to be recorded. Ciao!